So this is Janine from Pangolin Photo Safaris, and today I want to speak to you about custom shooting modes and whether they're useful for wildlife photography. If you do enjoy our YouTube content, please don't forget to subscribe, press the bell button down below, and you'll always get notifications when there's new videos coming out. So let's get started. I want to talk to you about whether custom shooting modes are helpful for wildlife photography. Well, my answer is it depends. There's no one way or another. But generally I find that custom shooting modes are too rigid for the versatility that wildlife photography has to offer for us. We have constant changes in light, in speed, in subject matter, and therefore I find that 2 to 3 custom shooting modes just simply cannot cover the matter that is out there for photography. A lot of the camera bodies do have their custom shooting modes on the left-hand side within their mode dial. So when you're holding a camera like this and you're having a telelens on there, I find it quite cumbersome to take your left hand away in order to reach that mode dial to change your custom shooting mode. Most of the time you have to place your camera down, lift it back up, refocus, and then shoot. That takes a tremendous amount of time that we often do not have in wildlife photography. Therefore, it is simply often a time matter. Some cameras have their custom mode dial or their mode dial on the top right hand side of their camera. That is a lot in mirrorless cameras such as Olympus or Sony. However, the regular adjustment dials that you find either front or back or top or bottom of your camera have priority for accessibility. So even for those cameras, the mode dial will be slightly centered to the back. So unless you can reach it very, very easily, and secondly, it is not locked via a button, it is no more helpful than with the custom mode dials on the left-hand side. So coming back to your adjustment buttons, which are so easy to reach, and right there at your trigger finger and your thumb, doesn't matter which brand you choose, accessibility is key. And quite frankly, if you want to go from a portrait from 1,000th of a second to an action shot at 3,200ths of a second, it is simply a trigger finger dial away. It goes so quickly. It goes much quicker than putting your camera down in order to change your custom shooting mode. So at the end, it all boils down to how fast can you be. That is wildlife photography for you. But on the other hand, I also find the custom shooting modes sort of restrict your creativity and your thinking process. People lean back and they get lazy. They have an action mode, they have a portrait mode. Why think further? But generally, these custom shooting modes need to be fine adjusted as well. They can't cover the versatility of scenarios that we find out there. And with Canon camera in particular, but it might also be with other cameras, if you fine adjust your custom shooting mode, it will reprogram itself back after a certain time interval to the original setting. So let's say you fine adjusted it and brought it from 2,500ths of a second to 4,000ths of a second because you want a kingfisher in flight, and now you're waiting for that kingfisher to take off, and if the kingfisher takes too long, boom, your settings are back at 2,500 no matter what you did. That is quite annoying. However, there is reasons for custom shooting modes. I find them particularly interesting when we come to intentional slow motion blur, because now it's not just a quick flick of your finger. Now you have to dial, let's say, from 2,500ths of a second all the way down to 30ths of a second. And on top of that, you're probably going to have to close your aperture down to block out some additional light and raise your f-stop. So that is not just a quick glance. That is suddenly quite time consuming, and that's where I find that custom shooting modes can save you some time in order to pick up quickly when you find the opportunity for, let's say, a slow motion panning shot. In general, however, I do suggest just get to know how to change your exposure, your aperture, and your shutter with your normal adjustment dials while looking through the viewfinder. That is the fastest way to get to the settings that you actually want. If you do have a camera that has custom shooting modes accessible on the right-hand side, or if you can maybe reprogram one of the buttons to have it accessible on the right-hand side, please go for it. It makes custom shooting modes so much more handy. It suddenly makes sense, and they're a lot more applicable in real-life scenarios. If you do want to know how to custom set your own camera, please check out our other videos for that. We have quick introductions on how to set your custom shooting modes or how you can maybe reprogram them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions when custom shooting modes might make sense, or if you simply can't figure out how to do it with your own cameras, leave them below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day.